Choose to Challenge with LaWanna Bradford, where we honor women, reflect on our accomplishments, inspire excellence, amplify our voices, and challenge limitations and the status quo. Never apologize for being authentic and for being powerful. Let your voice be heard. Be the change you wish to see in the world. Join Choose to Challenge with LaWanna Bradford each Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern on e360tv.com.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Choose to Challenge. I am LaWanna Bradford with the Bradford Group and principal of the Bradford Group Consulting, and I am so excited to be here with you for another amazing edition. Welcome to our E360 TV community, and those of you who are streaming this on social media, thank you for joining us. One of the things about Choose to Challenge is to challenge women in particular to look around at those things that may be preventing you from elevating and expanding to the best and highest version of yourselves. Those things could be anything from systems, institutions, negative thoughts, the whole mindset that are even friends and relationships that are impeding you. And so we want to recognize what those are. How can we navigate the waters so that those stumbling blocks are transformed into stepping stones? And today I have a very special guest with me, Irene Vaskberg, and we are going to be talking about mindset and technology. So before we get started, I want to salute our sponsor for the evening, and that is Freedom Travel. Welcome. How's it going, Irene?
Oh, it's going great. Thank you. So honored to be here with you on this beautiful Saturday morning.
Yes.
Or afternoon now. I had to look at my afternoon. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for saying yes, being a part of this platform. You and I met on the social media landscape, and I feel like I've known you forever. You have such a warm and generous spirit, loving heart, and you are on a mission to change lives by letting people know there are alternatives, right? We know how in the US, the opioid epidemic is just that. It's an epidemic. People are so reliant on painkillers for many reasons. And it's not just because people choose to become addicted. It's because you have physical pain and you are trying to manage it so that you can start to live freely. Because of your experience, and you've had, and we'll get into your story, you've had some trauma in your life that has caused you to experience much grief, loss, as well as painful living. But within you, there were seeds of resiliency and determination that enabled you to turn on the mindset in a different way, to say, you know what, I can overcome this. Life is better than what I'm currently experiencing. But then what's amazing is you pair this mindset with this introduction to technology that is now giving hope and inspiration and encouragement to so many others. And so I want us to talk a little bit about your story, and then we'll go into the HPT technology. So again, welcome, Irene, and tell me, however comfortable you are with our audience, a little bit about your journey and what caused you to realize that life isn't always so easygoing and flowing, right?
Well, thank you. Wow, what an incredible introduction. Thank you. I always get an awe when I hear people speak about me. It's so weird. This is totally not what I'm about. But, there's a moment in our lives that uh, the most difficult moment in your life, or I'd like to say the moment we thought was the most difficult, and the moment that we think buried us, actually planted us for this incredible moment that each one of you is in right now. So I like to tell people that think of these difficult moments, the pain, the suffering, the let go, let down, maybe a divorce or heartbroken, or people that have did not keep their word. They said they're going to do something. Think of it as a gift. It's a tiny blessing, because there's so many lessons in it. And through that difficult moment, you come out on the other side. As I say, I went from chronic pain to dancing. And I would have to start from when I was 11, and my parents brought us to this incredible, beautiful country of the United States of America. I was born in the former Soviet Union, and my parents left everything for us, for my sister and I, to have a better quality of life. And my parents just didn't talk, they walked the walk, by taking this incredible journey to come to this country with no English, with like $500 in their pocket, and created incredible, beautiful life. And my father said to us, that's where the mindset came, is that I brought you to this country. I sacrificed a lot for you to be able to open any doors. It's not going to be easy, but it's possible. So if you work hard, if you dream big, if you go for it and do it with kindness and not stepping on anyone. Actually, he told us, make sure you help everyone, no matter where you are in your journey. If you have something, you have enough, somebody has less, you make sure that you share. So that kind of mindset of not giving up, yes, it's going to be difficult, but it's possible to do. So my father was my big influence. It's been 5 months since he passed away, but he works with me every single moment of my day.
I think that's beautiful, and I've enjoyed the post where you've shared about stories about your wonderful father, and it is such a blessing. We often think about children as being gifts, but when we really look at the seeds of genius and greatness that our parents give us, right?
Yes.
They were gifts around us all along, and unfortunately, some people go through life and they don't realize that. They don't realize what they have in their parents. Yes.
Yes. And my parents are perfect balance of each other. My father was like a true supporter. Like, he was just my like a cheerleader. And my mom, pardon me for my English, was a pain in the butt. She challenged me to my core, and my father challenged me, but he came with so much love, and maybe he didn't understand it, but he still supported me. That made me think a little bit more before I did anything, just because the way he handled all of those situations. So yeah, it's life is a beautiful journey. And what I've also learned, we must not be afraid to travel the road less traveled. My sister always says, or my sister, there's a saying, we make plans, but God laughs at us. He has his own mission for us, right? So we have to be flexible. Like I used to say, like a Play-Doh, right? Like
Yes.
we make shapes, but God, universe, whatever you believe in, will mold it for you. Like for the life of me, if somebody told me 12 years ago, I'm going to be sitting here with you and I do this couple of times a week and talk in public, I would think they were freaking crazy. There was so much insecurities growing up with English being my second language, not pronouncing words correctly. I was kind of embarrassed to talk and to share. And look at me now. I mean, and look at you. If the audience is listening, look at where you are now. Like, where is your life? Where have you been? And I'm sure many of you have been through so many difficult situations. So I always say, give a pat on your back. Make sure you celebrate yourself. Yes, and shine the light on yourself. If we don't do it, nobody else will do it. Like if I hide my story,
Exactly.
right, I would not be here.
Yes. I read a few years ago, it was in a magazine, and I can't remember the magazine, but I love the article title was, "You cannot expect the world to stand up and applaud you if you're not willing to stand up and applaud yourself."
Oh my God, you just gave me goosebumps. Yes, it is so powerful. And I guess, let's say the last 20 years, people been saying to us, oh, why are you talking about yourself? It's ego coming out of you. People always say, why you make these videos and why are you doing this? And like, you want attention. I want so much attention. I cannot help myself. I mean, I want so much attention because if you have a really true mission that really aligns with you, with your soul, like I, I'm jumping around. I promise. So let me go a little bit back. 11 years ago, so you can understand what I mean. 11 years ago, I was in a terrible car accident. I was on my way to go change and celebrate my 43rd birthday, and I just came off a really difficult 10 years of struggle with my oldest daughter. There was a lot of stuff, and granddaughter that I was fighting for custody. And, it took a lot of toll on mentally, physically, financially, physically meaning emotionally. I was still in
Sure.
good health. And then, and I was in a good place. I was ready for love. Woo. It was been a long time, and the 43, it's my number. I'm going to just be on the top of the world. Instead, I end up in emergency room. Instead of, I lost a business that was making me six figures. They took 17 years to build as a single mother. I was about 20 something years in the business at that time. Not only did I lose my financial, I lost my health, my wealth, my mindset. I've been in many, many difficult moments in my life. But when you lose all of those things together, it takes a toll. And living in chronic pain, living without financial stability, living with anxiety and depression, and then doctors tell you we have no solution except these drugs. It was a hard pill to swallow.
Yes. Um, I, I, I think, and I want to just pause there for a minute for people to realize that you said life was good. You were getting ready for a new chapter, and then just in an instant, you said you ended up in the hospital. I mean, it was not just not ER. You were in the hospital for an extended period of time.
Oh, when I was in the hospital after the fact for extended period of time, because as my chronic pain increased, my body was giving away, and I would shake profusely for 3, 4, 5, 6 hours. I never knew when it would begin, would stop. So, not in the beginning, but right in the middle of my journey, I would spend a week, sometimes 7, 8, 9 days in the hospital. They were doing a epidural, but it took time. It was a hot mess, and I spent a lot of time in the hospital just to be able to get relief. Like ER was my best friend. I mean, I'm laughing now, but it wasn't funny there. So, it was hard. Like I literally, like, I didn't know what to do because I got exhausted from thinking positive. I got exhausted from seeing my glass overflowing, and through my whole entire life, in many difficult situations, and the only thing that kept me going was my attitude, that I saw my empty glass overflowing, and people used to go, but you have nothing. I'm like, my glass is overflowing, get away. I live in abundance. I had no idea what I was talking about it. And but I lived in abundance. I remember this accident saying I needed $750 to pay my rent. I'm like, I had like a week to do it. And I'm like, okay, I trust God, I trust universe. As soon as I said it to my customer, two corrective colors called, and I got my money. So I live in abundance. It's like, oh my God, I mean, like I told you, glass is always overflowing.
Yes. And I know some people are listening and we get it where you're like, okay, well that's easy for you, but you have no idea what I'm going through. And I want to pause for a minute because I don't want anyone listening to take your situation as a mild situation. When Irene is talking about, this profuse shaking, she's a hairstylist by profession. How can she even do her business if she has no control of basically the body seizing, right?
Yeah.
Ongoing, like you said, for sometimes hours at a time. And when you think about that, what kind of quality of life can you have if you can't be in control? Because now the body is just doing what the body wants to do because of the neurological damage. And that's one example of so many people who are struggling, right, Irene, in some form or fashion, whether it's through anxiety, chronic pain, depression, PTSD, that prevents them from showing up and really experiencing life in abundance because the body has become limited. The body has
Oh,
become restricted.
100%. I felt like I was a prisoner in my own body. And, I learned so much from my experience. Until you know how it feels, it's hard to even imagine. I would take anxiety and depression sort of lightly because my mindset was very strong, and I thought, oh, go read a book, go do meditation, go breathe. I don't know. Uh, it does not work when your mind is in such a horrific place, when you see your life just disappear in front of your eyes. And I knew I could never ever rebuild my business. Like, I didn't think I could even function because doctors told me there was no hope. And I literally had to talk myself out of this terrible messages. Like, I had to kind of, my customers actually used my own words on me, saying, Irene, it's just a moment. All is going to be okay. Keep going. Remember, your glass is overflowing. Remember, we're here for you. Even though I lost 70% of my customers, it was so painful. It was so painful to see the people that I stood by and they disappeared in my most difficult moment in my life, when my financial stability was zero. And let me tell you, my stability, financial stability, maybe not better than it was, but I am living my best life. Health is wealth. uh, your mind, meaning the anxiety and depression, is a difficult place to live, and it puts you in a very crazy situations. So prior to finding my miracle that I prayed for 5 years, I had to be my own miracle. Every day I would make little short videos and go on YouTube and look for other people inspirational stories to inspire me to not to give up. I joined many different chronic pain communities to have a support system, because if you have not lived in chronic pain, you don't understand. And my friends got tired of me complaining and tired of me of canceling, tired of me saying I can't do it. I'm on Vicodin and Norco. No, I cannot go buy a bottle of wine and drink with you.
What if you want to see me tomorrow, right?
Oh, and even though I've done shots of tequila with it, because actually that worked better than some of the meds. I'm not promoting anything here. I'm not promoting anything here, but you have to do what you have to do sometimes, right? And so, yeah, it was tough. And mindset is really, really important. It's hard to get it back. I was in the pits of my no mindset. I was a pity party. I was like, why me? I have never ever said why me. My daughter and I have been in some really difficult situations, and I never said why me. Why would I wish this for someone else? I always felt, and it's going to come full circle, that God gives us what we can handle. God gives us this task to go through, knowing that we will be able to share it. And so that's kind of how I walked my life. But for the first time in my life, I asked why me. I only understood why me a couple of years ago. When I prayed 4.5 years ago for God to take me away, because I could not. My mindset was gone. But I didn't believe in the prayer. My mindset was gone. I didn't see myself coming out of this. I didn't see myself having a quality of life. But something still said inside me, pray anyway. It gave me some sort of comfort, even though I didn't believe it, and I don't know how to explain.
No, I had a guest earlier on another episode of Choose the Challenge, and she's actually from Germany, and she's gone through just horrific life experiences, and she mentioned the same similar experience that she didn't believe in the prayer, but she felt compelled to pray.
Yeah. Oh, just gave me goosebumps again, girlfriend.
And then the miracle happened for her.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, here's another goosebump. Yeah, that's exactly 4.5 years ago. I sat on this chair that is in front of me. We'll never throw it away. It's dirty. I mean, I cleaned it and washed it. The certain stains that never go away. But that is like, how I have a God box,
Mhm.
pray box, and people have like, the rooms, and this is my chair. When I'm in a difficult situation, I need some decision, just sit there and pray. And I prayed. I said, God, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I'm done. I'm a nuisance to my daughter. She's been taking care of me. I am a baggage for her. Like, she's stressed out. And she's been taking care of me. She was 11 when I got into a car accident. So I said, I can't do it. It's too much. And I just like, no life. Like, I'm full of life. I'm full of life. And I said, okay, God, please, last prayer. I made peace of going, but please, please, please. And I don't know, I've prayed many times, but I think this was really like specific. I said, I'm tired of being poked, so I want something drug free. I'm tired of being x-rayed and put in tubes and drink some crap that I glow in the dark. I want it to be non-invasive, no chemicals, because every time I would go, they would give me something for my liver, for my kidney, because I was in so much debt. Affordable, because I was $15,000 in debt. And I said, if it's a business, not expensive, and it must have a mission, purpose, and passion, and it has to be people first and profits later. And God answered beyond my wildest dreams. It's exactly what I prayed for. He gave me. And I just want to give you another message. When you pray, make sure you're praying with open heart, with open eyes, and definitely out of the box. I never thought, yes, this is my pain relief. This is what gave me my life back. Imagine wearing this cool sock and it puts your neurology back into action. I went from flight and fight right here, this little orange patch. You can actually see my brain mapping on YouTube and my video. Irene Vaksberg changed my life. I resisted it, this miracle from God, for 4 months. So now I tell people, please, when you pray, it may be in some weird form or shape, the answer. And I promise God that if He sends me the miracle, I'll be front and center every single day, sharing His gift. And that's what I do every single day. I get up in the morning, I go live. This comes with me every single day. And yeah, so that was a very special prayer. And this was a very special gift that gave me my life back, that put me back into pieces, that helped me find myself again, gave me hope, restore my faith, and put me on a mission of helping others to just hold on, right? Like, just hold on. I get it. I mean, I get it. I so get it. Especially the people that's sitting here and listening with chronic pain. They're like, one more thing, no way. And that was me. Because it's not that we don't want to try, that we sort of made peace with our pain. And to accept another thing that's not going to work, just the hope of it is more painful than actually the pain that we live with. So, but please don't stop trying. Please don't, I know, please don't stop trying. Keep on trying. even though it's hard, I know, and this is tears of joy and pain simultaneously because I know how you feel. I've lived it. But that difficult moment, and when you find your magic, it will change your life. It will give you a voice. It will give you a platform. It will, you will inspire others.
Yes.
Even before that, right? Like even before that, this is part of the story. I had to find some sort of way to function. And, yes, I faked it until I make it. But, you know, I talked openly before I found this, and, how I struggled with the depression and how I didn't want to live and how difficult it was to be in my own skin. I didn't feel loved. I didn't feel like who would want to be with me, right? Like, I
Yes.
don't want to be with myself.
For those of you that are tuning in, we are here with Irene Vaksberg, and we are talking about overcoming with the power of your mind and technology. And she has been sharing with us her journey in chronic pain, which was caused by an accident, and living through chronic pain, and how it ended up putting her in a very depressive state of anxiety, a state of not even wanting to be here anymore, even though she had a daughter. She just felt like, I don't want to be a burden any longer. There is no quality of life here. And she shared with us that she was very, very specific in her prayer. And then this miracle happened in the shape of a sock.
Yeah.
In the shape of a sock. And this is serious. I mean, we're laughing, but it is a technology. It is HPT technology that is woven in the sock. And I'm not, Irene could definitely speak more to the
Yeah.
scientific element of it, but just imagine, we have numerous systems in our body, our skeletal, our muscular, our neurological system. And the brain is that's the source where the pain center, it's radiating good and or bad indicators. So it's like our body is this dashboard. And if it's in a feeling of dis-ease where it doesn't feel right, and that goes on for a repetitive amount of time, then it becomes chronic. Becomes crippling, can even become paralyzing. And so I'd like for you to talk about this technology, because I shared with you, my dad had suffered a stroke, a mild stroke. He's 91, 2 years ago. And we were talking before the holiday, before Thanksgiving. And I said, he's doing well, but I just noticed he's getting a little off balance in his walking. And you said, let's try the socks. And he was open. That's the one thing. He was open to say, well, I'll try what I can. Even though he was walking with a cane, it was still a lot of instability. And we were afraid, is he going to fall? And use the socks and I told him, I said, Dad, you have to keep the socks on. He's like, well, for how long? I said, forever. But within 3 to 5 days, I noticed that he was no longer grabbing, because even though he had his cane, he was holding onto the walls. He was afraid to let go. And I asked him, I said, Dad, what's wrong? He goes, I'm scared I'm going to fall. So he's holding on with this ongoing fear that he's going to fall. Now he's walking with these socks. And they work. I mean, I saw it with my own eyes. I was talking to my cousin who, his uncle just had back surgery, and they're going to be ordering socks, for the dad. So, and again, this is so many things. We can be dependent on the drugs, the synthetics, and sometimes that may be all you have. But when there are alternatives that are proven, that can work, that can help realign, because our neurological system, it's like this electric currents. That's all
Yep.
it is, going back and forth, up and down in our bodies. And when they're aligned properly, as we were created to be, then the pain just starts to dissipate, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I saw numerous doctors, top neurologists, because it was a big case. I had an attorney, and they could not figure it out. Anything like they did this test, didn't show anything. I have learned a lot. So this is drug-free, non-invasive, no chemicals, no side effect. Every single person benefits from this technology. You do not have to be in pain. It has nothing to do with pain. This technology meets you at the level you are functioning in your neurology, right? It's what it does, it optimizes you wherever you are. So the least amount is 13%, and the most amount in 7 seconds, I'm talking 55%. And we have proven studies by doing a QEEG brain mapping. It goes 19 wavelengths, 400 speed. I had 5 EEG. It barely showed anything. They told me to go see a psychiatrist while my body was on fire. I had neuropathy, and I couldn't feel my feet. They were numb, and they're telling me that I need to go see a psychiatrist. And so, yes, it helps with stability, mobility, range of motion. But the most important thing, it keeps your brain in balance, equilibrium, homeostasis. Everyone that's walking on this earth is in flight and fight mode in some sort of way. It can come through eating, lack of sleep, anxiousness, you're getting nervous, you can't do things, OCD, ADHD. The brain is in flight and fight. So in 7 seconds, when you put the technology on, it puts the brain in balance. And that's what was happening to me. The part of the brain, finally, one doctor that deals with pain management for cancer patients, when I walked into his office, he said, "Oh my God, your brain is on fire, and we need to put you in a homeostasis." That cost me $250 a month, did nothing. I did it for 5 months at 250, and then I found somebody to get me for $100. But that alone was a couple of $1,000. So when I discovered this, when this was gifted to me, and I put it on my feet, and I put it on my feet at the moment that it's been 6 months from my epidural, and I was flying to Europe, and I didn't want to get I needed my 10 epidural to fly to Europe. And I actually told my friend, I don't want to try anything. I'm going with my epidural, with all my drugs. I went with, oh my God, excuse me, 3 pairs of socks and an Advil. I never got my 10th epidural. And I came back, I still didn't believe it because doctors told me there was no option. Fast forward, I went from chronic pain to dancing. I went from crying pain, not wanting to live. That's all I want to do is live and spread joy, happiness, and optimism. And my biggest message is until you find your joy, happiness, and your miracle, please don't give up. Please stay in faith. Please dig deep inside of you. Even if you just little tiny light, hold on to it. I also say, in every day cannot be amazing, but there's something amazing in every day. And yes, this makes my day amazing every day, not just because it gave me my life back, but it gave me purpose. My appointment book used to be booked 3 to 4 months in advance. That's how big of a business I built, and it's gone. It will never be back there again. And now I have appointments to share this. It's not the same, it's different. This is life as I gave life to the women and men that sat in my chair. But it reminds me that universe took something away so special to me and gave me something in return even more special. Like I made difference in my hairdressers customers' life, but this is beyond a miracle and what it does. Yes, I know, I cried because that's how powerful this is. It literally saved me. It literally gave me my life back. It literally put hope back in my heart. It literally released my daughter from living in anxiety and anxiousness, and actually this sleep helped her not to live in anxiety and anxiousness, and me with PTSD, because my trigger is everywhere, right? Like cars are everywhere.
Yes.
So I know, I'm sorry I talk so much, but
No. This is, I mean, this is what this show is about. It's about choose the challenge, and we're talking about a lot of things. We're talking about the mental, the emotional, the physical pain and prison that sometimes we can be in, whether it's self-inflicted or caused by other events and circumstances. And sometimes it's more than just flipping on a switch, because the one thing, Irene, that frustrates me is when people say, oh, you just need to have a positive mindset.
that was me. That's how I felt about it until I went through that experience. And I have apologized to many people.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very easy when you haven't gone through something so traumatic. It's very easy, right, to say, it's not that bad. Come on, get up, suit up, just lift up your chin, lift up your head, and go. But I know for me, I used to suffer from the age of 16 till about 6 years ago, and just miraculously they went away. But I suffered from chronic migraines. And so I know what it's like to literally not be able to function. I've lost countless months of my life in a dark room with just opioid bound, basically. Whatever they could give me, to the point that you start telling the doctors what to give you, right?
Yes.
You go into the ER, they're like, what's working? And you give them the cocktail that you want.
That's right. Yeah. Funny, but sad, right?
I mean, it's sad, but you get to that point, and then the body, for those of you that understand what we're saying, the body knows what it needs to trigger that fix, if you will.
Yeah.
And so it will start magnifying the pain.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And so many people are dying needlessly because of the usage of opioids, because of the pain clinics that are out there that are not being monitored responsibly. It's frightening, and I love what you're doing, Irene, is showing people that there is another way, there is hope, there are other technologies that we can use to help put our body in that state of homeostasis, in a place where we are at ease and living in a divine wellness state, because that is our right.
Yeah.
But it's a process.
It's a process. And I tell people, listen, no, it's not a cure, right? But your drugs that you're taking is not a cure either. But no. I know if you're consistently wearing, your own body will create neuroplasticity. After wearing them 18 months, 90% of neuroplasticity was developed neurologically. Permanent. And we have 53,000 incredible life-changing testimonies in our group, and a lot of them with migraines. And I actually went to UCLA and took 2 seminars about migraines, and I'm sitting there screaming at the doctors. They're talking about equilibrium and balancing of that part of the brain that creates like this 20 different triggers for migraines, so they cannot really figure out which medicine for what, because there's so many different kinds. I learned a lot, but one common theme was, how do we put the brainstem in equilibrium? That's the word they use. I finally figured out how to say it, because I said it for 4 hours and repeating it. And I'm like, here, this does it in 7 seconds. Just put the damn socks on. I'm not saying it's going to remove all of your migraines, but we definitely, and it's not for migraines. Remember, it's not for any issue, but it's for neurologically balancing. When the brain is in calmness and not in flight and fight, it kind of starts healing itself. So this is just like a switch on in your brain to say, okay, these things are not functioning correctly. Let's start functioning correctly. And there's a period for some people, if you have too many underlying conditions that we do not deal, we don't cure, you can have a little bit more pain, because especially with neuropathy, the blood flow comes now, right? There's no blood flow when the neuropathy happens, and it could feel a little bit painful. That's why if you decide to take this journey with me, I am holding your hand to the 21 days and after, as much as you want me. I'm a pain in the butt. I checked a lot and you're like, how's your dad doing? How's your dad doing? I'm like, don't block me. Don't block me. I just, I just know this needs to be shifts. And, I know exactly how to do all of this because I've experienced all of that myself. But it's a mission, it's a purpose, and it's a passion. And it's exactly everything that I prayed for. The owner of this company just lowered the price. There's no company that I've ever heard that lowers the price of the product. 99%, they, make it higher. He just lowered the technology and gave the field 25% off of your first order. And so it is a true God's blessing that God gave me for all my suffering. Exactly what I needed. And even am I excited? I'm sorry about that. So so pray very specifically. Pray like you believe in it, even if you don't. Like, I don't know what was so different about it. I felt like I'm going to give this two choices: ending of life or beginning of the life. And that's kind of, I said, it's up to you. Whatever you decide for me, I will do it.
And for those of you who are watching, again, we are not here as medical professionals, but we are here as two individuals who have lived through chronic pain, who know what it's like to be dependent on the opioids. But we're saying there are some alternatives that you can research for yourself. I mean, there's nothing. I'd rather you try on a sock or try on a sleeve than pop another pill.
Yeah.
And see if you feel some sense of relief.
Yeah. What I tell people, be committed to the alternative, either mine or somebody else, as you committed to the meds that you take. I was very committed 4 or 5 times a day, popping the Vicodin and the Norco and the Gabapentin and putting some creams on myself. So did it for 5 years.
I was to the point where, I mean, like I said, I was giving, telling them the type of cocktails, and now they won't give Demerol, but I was too. Yeah, so I was a Demerol user, and it was to the point that I said, is there a way that you can prescribe this and give it to me at home and I can give it to myself? And they're like, no. But I'm like, well, why not? I'm in here all the time. Right? Because it can only be administered. It's like Propanol, only can be administered in an ER facility or hospital facility.
Yeah. And they did it with morphine for me. And it didn't last, because when they added the Demerol to it, it didn't last as long. And I'm like, just give me straight up morphine. I don't need this. I'm like, and you know what happens is, like, it wears off. The shaking intensifies. It was just a horrible roller coaster. Well, I'm not on it. I'm dancing. I'm living my best life. I am on Ferris wheels, afraid of heights, but I did it last week. So, once you take control of the mindset, right? Not easy, but it's possible. Again, I'm going to remind you, even in your worst days, there's something joyful in it. So try to be as positive as possible in a difficult moment. I know it's hard. I know. I've been there, but just do your best to hold on to a little bit of glimpse of hope, and don't ever stop praying.
Yes. Well, Irene's contact information is below. You can reach out, talk to her, get more information and inspiration on her journey. 322-428-2499. I know she's available to speak on stages about just her journey, but also about this technology. You can go to bit.ly/pain-free2022 to check out the products, to get your discount on your first order. And again, reach out to Irene for more information. And Irene, before we go, I want to take myself down. And do you have that little jar?
Oh, yes.
You want to talk to them about the jar story? And I'm going to take myself down, and you can.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I don't know this song.
My body becomes like a cement. Oh my God.
That was the better one. The song is I can
Okay.
Oh my God. You ain't
It's like magic. Literally like magic. The jar. I did a challenge for 30 days, and this actually, my challenge from grieving to joy. And what we did in both of the challenge, I asked people to grab a jar and every day to put something that hurt you, that caused you pain. And then I asked you to write all the blessings that you have. And every day I ask people to take a picture and of the jar and write something on the Facebook page and tag me in it. And for you, I asked you to take the empty jar and just start filling it. Filling with good, the bad, the ugly, your dreams, your missions, your purpose, your passion. It's like a manifestation jar, right? Put it first 10 to 15 days. If you're doing the 30-day challenge, you will be putting all of your doubts, all the things that didn't come through, and then you will be putting all the things that you see yourself doing, like you have to visualize yourself in it. And how I end all of my lives and how I end all of my interviews and sharing my stories, and I'm so grateful for each and every one of you being here with me, is I tell you, wherever you are is just a moment. It's a beautiful moment that you are in. If you're celebrating, celebrate it to the fullest. Don't be shy. Share the celebration, share the power of your win. It is so important because there's somebody sitting in the corner crying and waiting for your wisdom, for your success, for your struggle, that you did not give up, that you made it. And the person that's sitting there and struggling, I want you to know that's exactly where you need to be right now. You need to be in this difficult moment, right? Grab a jar and write all the things that you're grateful for. It will help you change your mind from lack to abundance. Look into that pain, look into that struggle, look into why things did not work out. We are very quick to blame others, but some of the responsibility has to lie in ourselves. And the faster you recognize it, the faster you can forgive yourself, and the fastest you can move forward. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be in their hurt feelings, but it's not okay to be stuck in it. So I challenge you to take baby steps and grab your empty cup jar and start refilling it and seeing it abundantly, seeing all your dreams and hopes to come to reality. And no, it's not easy, but it's possible. I am your testimony. I did this for many, many years, and it got me to this incredible, beautiful place. So find me on Facebook. Let's grab empty jars and go for it. I'm having a...
Love it, love it. Well, it has been such a pleasure having you on this platform, Irene. And again, to the listening audience, Irene has just an amazing story. She is available to speak, to be an inspiration for you and your community. Her contact information is here below. You can follow her on Facebook, see her dancing on TikTok. Her phone number 322-428-2499. And you can order your drug-free technology. Try it out at bit.ly/painfree2022.
Thank you so much. I so appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Irene. And we're going to close out with one last commercial from Help Heal Humanity.
For the past 5 years, Help Heal Humanity has successfully run an elementary school in Canaan, Haiti. Due to COVID-19, the political unrest, and the recent earthquakes, food is scarce. The students attending our program are coming to school starving, and therefore causing a disruption in their academic goals. We need your help, now more than ever, to provide these students with the nourishment they need to continue their education. Our goal is to raise $100,000 so we can feed 100 kids lunch daily and send them to school in the upcoming year. Thank you for your support.